Captain Forest here, and in today's video I'm going to be power scaling Cammy from Street Fighter. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. Now before I dive right in, I'm just going to mention a few things. I actually made a power scaling video on Ryu. Please, I highly suggest you guys watch that video first, then come to this one. I go into a lot of detail, so there may be certain things I didn't include in this video due to time constraints or just due to me going over the scaling and deciding what is more consistent for Cammy more often not. But I will still reference some things from the Ryu video that I made. Also, I go into incredible detail the canonicity of the Street Fighter comics and the games. I go into a lot of detail, so please check out that video. But anyway, I'm going to dive in, talk about Cammy, talk about her game counterpart, and talk about her comic book counterpart, and then I'll also chop it up from there and go over some of her stuff and leave you guys some annotations on the screen so you guys can get an understanding of where she would range. During the time as she was known as Killer B, she was able to physically hurt Chun-Li with a cannon spike. This very same Chun-Li performs a giant Kikosho, which was calced around the 3.775 kilotons of TNT, which would equate to small town level. Now, Cammy was able to tank attacks from Juri. Juri herself was able to body slam and destroy Seth. This very same Seth completely no-sells attacks from Ryu and completely embarrasses him and slaps him away. Ryu himself has a direct feat where his energy was used to nuke a city, which was calced around the small city to city level plus ranges of attack potency. Cammy, Ryu, and Juri would also scale above the likes of E Honda, who destroyed a meteor. In my Ryu video, I used a calc from Versus Battle Wiki, which was calcing this feat around the mountain plus to island level ranges. However, it turns out it was a low ball. Shoutouts to Nyotic for pointing this out, and Frisk for recalcing this feat, because this feat, folks, is a lot more impressive than it seems on paper. There were two versions of this calc, which puts this feat around the large country to the multi-continental levels of attack potency, which is very impressive. So yes folks, Ryu, Cammy, and Juri would scale to this. And to further add on some more supporting evidence, Cammy herself, during the Alpha series, during her time as Killer B, has a statement noting that she could destroy an entire country on her own, just to add some more consistency to some higher end scaling for Cammy. Now as for comic feats, we've seen Cammy damage Bison with a rock, make him bleed. This very same Bison in the comics performs a feat where his psycho energy from his body is used to power up a satellite, which rains down a blast of psycho energy which completely vaporizes the terrain. This feat was calced around the 504 gigaton ranges, which would pretty much equate to large island level. Also shoutouts to Phantom Falcon, he also made this calc too. So we got some really good strong ranges for Cammy too, which is pretty impressive. You can get Cammy to universal or high universal levels of attack potency due to Bison's connection to Psycho Power, as the power he draws from permeates the entire Street Fighter universe. And there is a statement from Dhalsim himself that states that the Street Fighter universe is infinite in size. Cammy has some more feats just to kind of solidify some things. So Cammy in the comics, she was able to literally on her own fend against and hurt a mind controlled Ken, E Honda, T-Hawk, and the Shadaloo dolls that were under Bison's brainwashing before she was off guarded and taken down by T-Hawk. And for some more consistency, Cammy has gone one-on-one with T-Hawk and low diffs him in combat during the Shadaloo tournament. We've also seen Cammy one-shot Vega. This very same Vega can also contend and fight and damage the likes of Ken. So overall, some pretty consistent and some pretty decent scaling for Cammy in the comics. She is a very powerful combatant in her own right. Now it would be safe to say that she can also scale to these ranges of attack potency too. Pretty impressive. That's going to wrap up AP. Let's move on and talk about speed, shall we? Cammy would also scale to the likes of Sagat, who was able to completely blitz Rumpo. This feat was calced around the high hypersonic ranges of speeds. We can also get Cammy higher than this, folks, from the feat that Zangief performed when he was able to dodge an attack from Korin, which was calced around the massively hypersonic ranges of speeds. Another upgrade for game Cammy and Ryu and other characters comes from a feat that was performed by Bison himself during Alpha 3 when he was able to keep pace with a laser that was fired from a satellite. This feat was calced around the 1% the speed of light, aka relativistic speeds. Very impressive. Cammy in the comics is shown to react and intercept attacks from Juri. Juri herself has dodged gunfire from a semi-automatic gun up close, and the speed Juri reacted to this was around 1,725 meters per second, which pretty much rounds up to hypersonic speeds, which is pretty impressive. Now Cammy herself can get way faster than this, folks, as she was able to react and avoid a lightning blast from Necro. Now that's going to round up Cammy's stats. I'm going to move over and talk about her skill and abilities. So Cammy is skilled in her own right. She is skilled in Shadaloo assassination training and special forces training too. Cammy has shown to fight against the likes of Chun-Li in hand-to-hand combat and has skillfully avoided and landed strikes on Chun-Li. This is impressive because Chun-Li herself is very skilled in her own right. Chun-Li knows Kempo, Tai Chi, and Kung Fu. She was trained in these arts at the age of 5 years old with her father and Gen as her mentors. She's battled many other opponents who are skilled in other forms of martial arts, also has beaten them in combat too, or she's pretty much come relative to them in skill. Even Ken felt intimidated by Chun-Li and her fighting style and abilities, and this Ken has gone toe to toe with Ryu himself, who has decades of experience and skill within his Shotokan style / karate martial arts, and Ryu himself has fought and defeated Akuma, who transcends all forms of martial arts, and Chun-Li has shown to be very skilled and rivaling others. Gen, who taught Chun-Li, is the very same guy who is a master of the murderous martial art of the Morning style and the killing intent, which Chun-Li learnt from Gen, and this very same Gen even tested Ryu to see how strong he had become and to find out if he has the skills or whatever means to take out Akuma. So they both spar, and Gen pretty much demonstrates and stays a step ahead of Ryu, stating that if this fight was for real, I would have killed you. She learns the very fundamentals and the very concepts of Kung Fu, embracing the paradox of duality and the universe around them, and Chun-Li herself has fought Ryu and has shown to finesse him in the skill department. Depending on what ranges of skill you can use, you can really get Cammy high up in the skill ranges, so you can even get Cammy to these levels of skill too, which is very impressive. Now, moving on, Cammy would also scale to the likes of T-Hawk and E-Honda. T-Hawk is skilled in Thunderfoot martial arts, and E-Honda is skilled in sumo wrestling. Naturally, a fodder character like Rufus, who is also an expert in Kung Fu. During Cammy's time in Delta Red and being one of Bison's dolls when she was known as Killer Bee, Cammy has various moves and techniques that she likes to perform in combat. Cammy can perform the spiral arrow, where she spins around like a screw at rapid speed to propel herself to the opponent to strike them with her feet. She can also imbue her hands and attacks with Chi, and for those who are unaware, Chi in Street Fighter is physical, spiritual, and mental in nature. Cannon Spike is an offensive attack where Cammy jumps into the air and kicks her opponent, the form representing a spike being projected in the air. This move is used to launch the opponent in the air or to intercept airborne opponents who are charging down to attack Cammy. Cammy's style of fighting utilizes fast-paced CQC and assassination techniques such as targeting weak points in the opponent's body, lethal attacks such as neck breakers, neck strikes, dislocation, or breaking arms. She will also combine moves such as a spiral arrow and cannon spike called the spin drive smasher. Cammy is also no stranger to fighting a horde of enemies and soldiers just on her own, so she can also fight when she's even outnumbered, which is pretty impressive. So that's going to conclude this video. Easily, Cammy is a force to be reckoned with. She has some really good scaling, easily ranging from small town level, small city, city level plus, mountain level plus, island level, country to large country level, and to the multi-continental ranges for her game feats. As for comic book, easily large island to some possible universal or high universal levels of AP, and for speed, easily for her game counterpart, hypersonic, high hypersonic, massively hypersonic speed and some relativistic speed stuff, and for her comic book version, easily massively hypersonic stuff, which is pretty decent. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoy Street Fighter content, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for the content. It's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.